Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Today I want to talk about, well, the trucker convoy in Canada and how the government there is trying to crack down on them and what that means for not just Canada, but for everyone else, and just a little bit more, some thoughts on what's going on up there. I want to get to that here in a minute. Also, I want to talk to you briefly about kind of maybe a redefined, I guess maybe the right term, direction for this channel and the content that I put out. So I want to get that to you also. A couple of things I wanted to mention to you about this company. I want to start off by saying I have no business relationship with them whatsoever. I don't get any kickbacks. I'm not getting free stuff. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm just sharing this with you because I think that this is excellent for you prepping homesteaders to have. You know, we talk about seeds, garden seeds all the time, and of course they're essential, but another type of seeds that you need to be stocking up on is your medicinal herbal seeds for, medicinal plants. Of course, there's stuff that grows wild out in the countryside, but there's a lot of good stuff that you can stock up on and have. And this is a company that I have used for years, and yes, someone over in the backwoods is cutting wood. I've used this company for years with great results, and it's called Strictly Medicinal Seeds. They just sent me a catalog yesterday, the day before, I don't know, something like that. Strictly Medicinal. They're out of Oregon. You can look them up. They have a website. Anyways, for folks of you that are like myself, an herbalist, this is like the Sears Roebuck catalog. It's amazing. I know most of you younger than me won't get what that joke meant. This has probably the best variety of medicinal herbs, hard to find, rare. It's really good. They have an amazing selection. They also have trees, shrubs, vines, and they do have a few vegetables in here. But the main bulk of what they sell is medicinal herbs, and they have a great variety of it. Their prices aren't any different than pretty much anyone else. There's a lot of information in their catalog of what zones you can grow a particular thing in and what you can use it for. So I would encourage you to look into Strictly Medicinal Seed Company. Like I said, I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm just telling you, it's great. And for you herbalists like myself, sometimes it's hard to find the seeds that you want, and especially all in one place. You may have to order it from 50 different people and individuals and stuff like that. And this is it's a small company run by a family. It's not some big organization or anything like that. So it's something I would consider looking into. Another thing I just wanted to mention, if you have been watching this channel for a while and haven't subscribed, please do so. It's not difficult, it's not painful, and it's free, and it just helps us grow a little bit on here. So I want to get onto this Canadian convoy trucker thing, and they're cracking down on it, which is not a surprise. We all knew that it was going to happen at some point. The city of Ottawa, Canada, has issued a declaration of emergency. I'm not exactly sure on Canadian law of how it works. I'm going to assume that it's similar to United States law, so that when a government issues a declaration of emergency, what that means is it opens up not just funding, but it opens up resources and authority to them that would not be had otherwise. So there's a strong possibility that in doing this, they're opening the doors to use certain types of, government whatever against the truckers to kind of get it shut down. They're saying that it's just causing too much disruption. Well, that's the whole point of what these guys are doing this for. There's videos out. I'm going to play this one here. It's a drone footage, and this isn't actually in Ottawa. This is at one of the border crossings between the United States and Canada, that they are shutting down the border, or nearly shutting down. I think there's been some negotiation to allow a certain amount of traffic through. But this is happening, and there's been reports of the police seizing fuel from the truckers or restricting their access to fuel. Saw another report out of Ottawa that they are ordering a shutdown of restaurants and certain other food, facilities and businesses, so that truckers won't have access to get food to eat. They're making it difficult for them, trying to make it uncomfortable for them. I don't recall these kinds of tactics being done during the BLM and Antifa riots. Maybe I'm wrong. And I guess they didn't have to shut down the restaurants because BLM and Antifa burned them to the ground and destroyed them. So I guess there's that. But I think the point is that we haven't seen the last of this. I've noticed in the last few days, and this just could be my feeling, that there seems to not be as much buzz on the internet about the trucker protest up there, and it's going on in other places. There's several other countries that are trying to do this. There's truckers here in the United States involved in planning. I even saw a post of a plan to do this in Europe, all over Europe. So it is growing. We're just seeing, I don't know if it's a combination of censorship and trying to reduce the amount that this is being seen online by the tech companies, or if there's actually, you know, like, it's a shame, but humans just lose interest really quick. You know, they have a very short attention span. And this has been going on for, you know, almost a couple of weeks now, going on close to 2 weeks, a week and a half. And we're going to start seeing people start to lose interest. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. A lot of people will, you know, they jump on it because it's cool and it's hot and it's right now. And then, you know, after a few days, they're like, well, I got to go back to my normal life. Now, here's the thing. I am still of the belief that this is all playing right into the plan of the globalists, of the global takeover. I believe that they planned for this, or at least something of this nature. I'm not going to go so far as to say that it's being orchestrated by them. I think it's very plausible to believe that there's certain people within the organization level of organizing this type of a protest that's probably, you know, plants. There usually is and stuff, especially this big. But I definitely believe that this is going to eventually play into it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I think it's great to rally the people and to protest tyranny. I think that's always a good thing, and to stand up to tyranny. But I think unless enough people have enough, you know, grit to make this last and to take this as far out as it needs to go, and that may just in fact mean more than just blocking roadways. I think it's eventually going to play into their narrative, into their plan. And I have a video clip here that could back me up a little bit. Now, he's not specifically talking about this. This was about a year or so ago, but this is Klaus Schwab. You should all know who he is. He's the president of the World Economic Forum. You know, he's kind of like the Darth Vader right now. And he's flat out saying that the stuff that's going on in the world today is going to cause anger and aggression and violence, and that they meaning the elitists, the globalists, they've got to be prepared for this. Watch this clip. And while I know it's not exactly talking about this situation, you have to know that when he's saying that them, you know, have to be prepared, they're preparing for things like what's happening right now. So listen.
What we know is that we will end up with many more unemployed, and particularly also people in the gray economy, which are not counted for, who lose their jobs. So we will see definitively a lot of anger already now, but probably increased by the end of the year, because this crisis will be with us until we really have found a remedy. So we have to prepare for a more angry world. And how to prepare? It means to take the necessary action to create a fairer world.
He flat out says it. I mean, that's the one great thing that I love about this guy, this Klaus Schwab guy, is he just says it. You know, he says that, you know, the fourth industrial revolution isn't about changing machines. It's about changing you. You know, that you can watch that. You're going to own nothing and you're going to love it. I mean, if nothing else, you have to have some respect for Mr. Schwab, because he's at least honest, if nothing else. I mean, he's not like other politicians and stuff that, you know, just lie, you know, when they're lying because their mouth's open. This guy, he's a pretty straight shooter. And so you have to have at least a little bit respect just in that sense. And it also creates some great content and the ability to kind of back up the things that I say because they're right out of his mouth. So I think that it's pretty safe to say that this or something very much like this was planned for. They're planned for defense. And you know, any good military strategy does this. They may not know exactly everything that happens or everything that could happen, but they can certainly have a pretty good idea, and they create contingency plans to work around and how to make those things work in their favor. And this is one of them. And it doesn't take too long to figure out that shutting down trucking, shutting down the delivery of all sorts of things, food, medicine, fuel, things to keep the grid going up, things to keep water systems running, medicine, everything. It doesn't take too long to think that if this all stops, or at least is greatly reduced because of a global or near global trucker protest, it could definitely play into their hand of, well, this is why we need all these new, technological advances. This is why we need so much government oversight. We need to make sure that it's fair for everyone. And this isn't fair. This is making it unfair for all the people that aren't part of this. And so we have to take over things. We have to hyper-regulate things. We have to change the way we do business and the way we live our lives because of this advanced fourth industrial revolution, so that we can create this utopia. I don't think I'm too far off on this. I could be, but I doubt that I am. So keep a watchful eye on this. I think that as long as it could fizzle out. People could just lose interest and it could fizzle out. I do know that there are certain, I think, provinces or cities and stuff in Canada that seem to start to kind of breaking down and giving in to the demands of the trucking protesters. But overall, I think that it's going to end up creating, or at least playing into their plan. Now, I want to get on to one last thing before I get off here, and that's about this channel. Since the beginning, and I hope that what I say doesn't step on too many people's toes. I hope you're able to understand it. Since the beginning of doing this channel, I've always tried to keep an open door for, what most of us would call newbies. People that's just waking up. People that have never prepared, that have no clue of what they're doing, and they're just waking up one day and they're watching a channel like this and they're asking, well, how in the world do I do this? And I've always tried to do that. And I will continue to leave my door open for people that are just getting started. But along the way, what I have done is I've kind of felt like I've had to water down my message a little bit on the things that's really going on in the world and the real repercussions and consequences of, all these actions and what we really have to be prepared for. I feel like I've kind of toned it down a little bit so that it's welcoming to a broader audience. And I had reasons for doing that. I had reasons. I hoped that reaching a broader audience, it was like casting a wider net and maybe, could reel in more fish that way, I guess you could say, or at least wake more people up. But I think I'm at a point now, and I think we are at a point in all of this that's going on that I really don't have the time anymore to do that. Or the energy. And while I will still answer questions and occasionally make a video on how to do this or how to do that that's maybe a little bit simpler and not necessarily advanced, I think you're going to start to see the content that I produce be a little bit harder hitting and much more to the point. And maybe, it might scare a few people. It might shock a few people. And that's not my intent. I understand that in doing this, I'd probably limit the size of my audience, probably limit the size of my growth, because I'm creating a little bit more narrow view and definitely a more, aggressive view. I don't know, not really aggressive. That's not the right word, but just a view that would be by many people's standards a little bit more extreme, but honestly, it's more truthful. And so I want to kind of shift gears a little bit and still produce the same content, but definitely be a little bit harder hitting on trying to get my point across of how serious the things are that's going on, and that we're beyond the point of kind of playing around, that we've got to really get serious with what we're doing of taking care of ourselves and our families. We've got to, really kind of buckle down, because the times are changing faster than I think that we're even aware of. And I have this really bad feeling that even for those of us that are prepared, we're still going to get caught off guard a little bit, and we're going to wake up one day and realize that, wow, all this was happening, we weren't even aware of it, because we were distracted by what's going on. The deception is great, folks, and even the most aware and intelligent person can easily fall victim to the deception that's going on. And so we need to get very serious about everything that's happening from a physical and a spiritual point of view. So folks, continue to get your houses in order. I will continue to do what I can to help those that need advice, but the reality is I feel like I'm at a point now of trying to wake up more lions than I am trying to wake up more sheep. So we'll see how that goes. Get your houses in order, folks. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I'll catch you in the next video.